What a difference a week makes.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, I'm Stacey Gotsulias. He's Brian McKeon. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $250 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. On today's show, we preview the Yankees' next series, 4 games with the Angels. Hopefully they won't get swept then. We're going to discuss Jazz Chisholm Jr. because there's a lot to discuss about Jazz Chisholm Jr. But first, what an absolute turd of a series in Tampa. The Yankees are swept out of the Trop. I want to curse, and I can't.
You know what's funny is if you look at the scores of these games, it winds up looking like it's a lot closer than it actually is. The Yankees were thoroughly embarrassed and outclassed by the Tampa Bay Rays in this series. Tampa Bay did everything better than the Yankees did in this series. The Yankees had their aces on the mound. They had the pitching matchups they wanted. Tampa outdueled them when it came to the pitchers. Not Max Fried necessarily, but it's not like Nick Martinez wasn't great in that game also. Yankees might have helped him out with that, but I'll continue. Base running, Tampa was far better. Situational hitting, Tampa was far better. Power, Tampa was far better. They did everything better than what the New York Yankees did. And what's crazy about this series and the last week, Stacey, if you would have told me this is how it would go after the first week, you could not feel more opposite than you did after the first week of the season. You couldn't. There is no more giant disparity in what they looked like coming back from the West Coast than what they've looked like since coming home. Since their home opener, Stacey, they've won 3 games. And that home opener, that first game against Oakland, whatever you want to call them, the Athletics, Sacramento, that's the only win they have in the last 6 games, is that Tuesday game where, I say it again, where Ahmed Rosario had to hit 2 home runs to save their bacon, or they would have been swept in 2 straight series. I mean, Oakland came into that, the Athletics came into that series playing horrendous baseball, striking out the most out of any team in the league. Yankees lost 2 out of 3. Tampa Bay came into this series playing horrendous baseball, last in the American League East, and having the most errors in all of baseball. And the Yankees made themselves look like fools on the field as Tampa embarrassed them.
Well, look at this. Look at where Tampa is now in the standings.
Thanks to the Yankees.
So the Yankees are now 8-7.
After, and it was way too early, but after the first week, you were seeing people all over say, "Oh, the Yankees could end this division early this year. They can get away with this." They're right back in the fold. Those people are a little crazy.
Yes, those people haven't watched baseball.
But look at what's going on.
Yeah,
I mean, this is, and you made a great point to me before the show started, and I'm gonna steal it for a second if you'd let me. The Yankees do this crap every single year where they tell you directly, "Oh, well, all teams do this." No, all teams do not drop 5 in a row and look non-competitive in all 5 games. That is not what all teams do. I'm sick of hearing that. Like, we all watch baseball nationally. We all see what the other teams are doing. We're all over it, right? Not all teams in sports lose 5 in a row and also act like there's not fire surrounding us. Like, this is fine. It's not okay.
It's the meme. It's the infamous meme where, "Oh, this is fine. That's the Yankees."
Yes,
and they always act like this. Because my point was, it feels like, okay, every team goes through a spell. It's 162 games in a season. No team has ever won more than 116 games in a season. All teams go through a lull or 2 or 5 or 6.
Baseball. Yep.
But when the Yankees go through these lulls, they play like the worst team in baseball. Like, it's not just like they're up against a team that's doing really well and it's just, "Oh, okay, we dropped it to a team that's won 5 in a row. These things happen." No, they always have to look horrible, embarrass themselves, say things that are embarrassing. They can't hit water if it fell out of a boat. They do these teases where they score in the later innings because they can't get to a starter, so they have to get to the bullpen, and then it's never enough. It's almost enough, but it's not enough to win a game.
Yeah, and again, teams go through spells of losing 7 out of 10, right? Teams will go through situations like that. but at least they're competitive in games. You blow saves, you go through. Every team goes through them. No team loses 5 in a row to 2 teams they should beat. That's not that's not what should be happening. You have to win games in between here. Let me give you a stat here, right? There's one guy hitting particularly really well on this Yankee team. I'll say Giancarlo Stanton's hitting well. He's hitting 300. He's definitely tailed off since the West Coast trip, but he's playing fine. Ben Rice is hitting 356 on the year. He's been great. He's got a 756 slugging, a 500 on base. He's been excellent.
Just missed a home run on Sunday by like a few feet.
Allow me to include his batting average with the rest of the team right now. They're hitting 197 as a team. That's with a guy hitting 356 in their lineup. That's how bad this roster has been. And let me take it a step further, Stacey. Past Bellinger, the 4-hitter, which, by the way, I'm using the 4-hitter because they've actually kept a consistent lineup. The one time they actually probably should change the lineup because they're not hitting, they keep the lineup the same. So go figure analytical baseball. Past the 4th hitter, they are an automatic out 5 through 9. I mean, nobody is hitting on this roster. Jazz Chisholm Jr., and we will get to him in segment 2. Believe me. Randall Grichuk might have been a bad signing because he's again, like I've used this word a lot in this segment, but it's the truth. His at-bats are non-competitive. He's doesn't have a chance up there. So he is a nothing, right? I'm sorry. Love the guy. Like his catching. He's a really good backup. JC Escar is non-competitive up there. He has no chance of getting a hit in every at-bat. You are clearly being shown why Jose Caballero was always a bench player for the Tampa Bay Rays, because he's not an everyday player. Case in point, the New York Yankees of this year, he's hitting 146. And I'm sorry, needs to be better. Had a hit on Sunday, Ryan McMahon. And I know he's out there for his glove. 114 is unacceptable. It is.
Well, I mean, it is better than 069, which he had the other day.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's small improvements, I guess. But this is what this team is doing. And this, I'm not going to call it the swoon yet, because I'm sure we're in for that in early July, late June.
Well, that's the thing. I discussed this with an insider, and I can't remember. Oh, no. And every day, or Tom Langen and I were having a conversation because I sent something out during the game joking about how much I hate watching this team right now and telling everyone else, save yourselves. We'll let you know what happens in the games. Listen to the show. You don't have to deal with this. We do for our jobs. And he said something about the Boone swoon. I said, yeah, but the Boone swoon usually happens after the Yankees start off well. They don't go through a spell this early. Some individual players do. Like sometimes Aaron Judge has a slow start. 2024, he had a slow start, and then he ended up winning the MVP. But when the entire team starts this way, and then you think to yourself, oh no, what if they do have another Boone swoon and it's another 6 to 7 week?
And the problem is when they start off as hot as they usually do, you build yourself a cushion at the start of the year where you can, take this as a grain of salt, everybody. You can afford the swoon because you build yourself such a cushion where like you're still in playoff contention. You're still, available to make trades. You can still believe in something.
They can't do that this year, not with the way the AL East is.
And you can't do it this early because you can bury yourself this early in a season, and they're doing that. They're starting to do that. They're in the process of doing that. You can't allow this to happen. One more point I want to make.
Mm-hmm.
I was having a conversation with somebody over the weekend, and it's funny because we're giving you a lot of really good takes, but we're also ranting about how bad this series looked over the weekend.
Yeah.
I was talking to someone over the weekend that said, oh, well, the problem is, Judge hasn't really gotten going yet. If you rely your entire team's success on Aaron Judge having monster season after monster season, then you are not a properly built baseball team.
No.
You aren't. There are many years that the San Francisco Giants did not win the World Series, but Barry Bonds was putting up historic numbers in San Francisco. You cannot rely on a singular player winning an MVP every single year and giving you automatic 50 home runs and 120 RBIs. That has only won you one pennant so far with him playing that way. B, that is not how a team is built. You cannot. I'm sick of hearing, oh, wait till Cole and Rodon get back. And this team might be buried by the time Cole and Rodon get back. You have to be better than that. And you cannot rely on a singular player that every single year we end the year thinking there is no way Judge can get back to this form or get better than what he is right now because his numbers are that astronomical. He's hitting over 310. The OPS is over 1,000, 50 home runs, 130 RBIs. It's incredible what he does. You cannot go into a baseball season expecting that out of somebody, expecting a historical year out of somebody. It's not feasible. And it feels like they're doing that. Oh, we'll get going once Judge's back gets going. How about the rest of the team?
And you also can't expect the guys coming back from injuries to do well right away when they come back from
No.
those injury breaks that they've had. You can't expect Volpe to come out running. You can't expect, maybe Rodon and Cole come back and they're fine. Maybe. But
you score. You gotta score to win games for them. Look, doesn't matter how good they are. Max Fried was awesome on Saturday. He was. And you know what? That Cam Schlittler, while he struggled to start, that's enough for you to win a baseball game. If you look at this team's lineup, right? 5 innings of 7 hit ball, 3 earned, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. He was a little over the place, gave up runs early. 3 runs in 5 innings is enough to win a baseball game. It is. That's what you expect out of your starters. They couldn't win the game. I'm sorry, that has to be better. And I keep hearing that too. Oh, well, they're going to get reinforcements. Volpe will be back soon. Volpe's going to come back to hit 210. That's going to save this roster. Give me a break, guys. It has been a very, 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 very bad, no good series. And one guy that is supremely highlighted that I avoided saying his name a lot in segment 1, we got to talk about him in the next segment, Stacey, because it's more embarrassing than how the team has played, how he's played.
Brian, of course, is alluding to Jazz Chisholm Jr., who had himself one hell of a weekend, and we're going to talk about it next.
If you've got a sweet tooth like I do, you know how tough it is to find the perfect treat without all the sugar. That's why the Confetti Craze 5-Hour Energy Shot brings that nostalgic flavor back in a whole new way. This is that classic taste that you remember, but with a tasty caffeine boost and 0 sugar. It's a quick, easy way to satisfy that sweet craving while keeping the things simple and on the go. I've always loved birthday cake, but I can't be eating sweets all day. This is the perfect alternative. Confetti Craze 5-Hour Energy Shots taste like a birthday cake, vanilla and buttery flavors to let you be unapologetically extra and unstoppably energized. All cake, no sugar. You have your cake and sip it too, minus all the sugar fill. I like how convenient it is too. It's just a small portable shot that I can grab whenever I need a little pick-me-up. It becomes my go-to when I want something sweet without having to go overboard. The Funfetti flavor is back on 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. Crack open Confetti Craze 5-Hour Energy Shots today. We want to thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. Baseball is back, some would say, unfortunately, if you're a Yankee fan. And to celebrate, we're giving you a full month of the Everydayer Club for free. Just head over to lockedonyankees.supercast.com and use code FINALLY. You'll unlock every episode ad-free and get access to our private listener group chat with Stacey during the games. She could be a good therapist at times. Tap the link in the show notes and use code FINALLY to claim your free month. Let's go behind the curtain a little bit, right? Because me and Stacey, as the weekends go on, usually we fill out the rundown as the games go on and put some thoughts in there that we have a feeling of. Segment 2, we titled, Jazz WTF. Because he had one hell of a doozy of a series. I want to start with this. If you watch the way the game ended on Saturday, they got into a bases-loaded jam in extra innings due to themselves, loaded the bases, walked the runner to allow the force at every single base. Rays were putting on a clinic on the base paths, stealing, running, suicide squeezes, the whole 9. And the Yankees actually got a run in the top of the 10th. They took the lead. And Tampa Bay winds up winning on a walk-off from a missed play. Stacey, let's play a video clip or an audio clip right now of Jazz Chisholm Jr.'s comments on the error that he made to end the game on Saturday.
Jazz Caballero just said in that final play, either way, it's just a really tough and odd play to make. Even if you don't bobble that, do you feel like you have a shot at a double play there?
Yeah, I was really going to go tag the runner and just throw it to first. I don't know what the rule is if I went to first base first and threw it back to second if it's still an out. Is it still a double play? I don't know. Does it count as not an RBI?
No, they'll score.
They'll still score?
They'll get there before the tag occurs in second.
Well, what I was trying to do in my mind probably wouldn't have worked anyway.
Imagine for a second being a professional athlete in sports and admitting that you don't know the rules to your sport as a middle infielder, not knowing how a tag rule works when you go back to second base. My mind is still boggled from what happened over this weekend.
Okay. It's one thing for your mind to go blank in a moment like that. Like you see it in like Chris Webber calling the timeout in the 93 Final Four game, like there are many instances where you have a brain block, or like people like to say, a brain fart. This isn't a brain fart. This is him not knowing an actual rule. That's bad.
The sport that he plays. And the sport that he plays, that, by the way, in the offseason, he said he wants $350 million to play, and he doesn't know the rules of the sport. That, to me, insane. Now, there's two rumors out there. Either it was a reporter or Trent Grisham that told him the rule, the voice that you hear in the background. Either way, unbelievably embarrassing. If you watch the clip online, this would annoy any fan. Jazz is sitting there giving these comments in front of a group of reporters with his diamond-studded Yankee hat on. He's fixing his earring. He could care less about admitting to the fact that he doesn't know a rule of the sport he's playing. The Yankees bring Cody Bellinger in from the outfield and are playing a 5-man infield. And Cody Bellinger is basically playing next to the pitcher because he's there to field the ground ball and be able to throw it home and get the force runner at home. They teach you from the time that you're a youth in playing baseball that every pitch you should be thinking in the infield, what am I doing if the ball is hit to me? So you can react, and if he knows he's going to second base here, he's going to first base, he's going to tag the guy. The fact that he's not thinking that, and Stacey, like you've said many times, this is not the 4th, the 5th inning where it's the middle of the game and you can kind of get lost in the clouds a little bit. This is the bottom of the 10th inning on the road where the crowd's cheering because it's Yankee fans, Rays fans, mostly Yankee fans. To not be dialed in that moment where there's, by the way, there's a 5th infielder in the infield. They're running suicide.
And the team is notoriously terrible at extra inning games on the road. Also, let's add that in.
To not be focused in that moment, knowing what you're doing. Once they bring Bellinger in to play about 20 feet in front of you, wouldn't you be even more dialed in? I'm like, all right, if I get the ball, if that ball gets past Cody, what am I doing with the ball? To not be thinking that, because he's probably thinking about his at bat in the top of the 11th where he's going to try and hit a 6,000-foot home run. To not be thinking about that is, I'm sorry, it's a punishable offense. Like, they should have sat him on Sunday for that specific
I'm actually
reason.
surprised they didn't, because they have benched people for less than that.
Yes, and that is a benchable offense. I'm sorry. And again, if you don't know the rule, I'm sure people have brain farts, but he admitted that he doesn't know the rule.
Right.
That's totally
the
different than a
difference.
brain
That's
fart.
what I said. Like, it's one thing for you to just, like, sometimes in a heated situation or in a nervous situation, you kind of lose things and
We've all been there.
You forget how to function. It happens. But for him to come out and say, "Oh, I didn't know that."
To admit it publicly and not ask your manager, not confirm with somebody, not say it in a different way where you can it can be misconstrued of how it.
Yeah,
so
I wish he had. Yeah, he should have said it in I don't know why. I don't know if he thought maybe because the way he ended it didn't make it seem like he thought it would be better if he told the truth, because he honestly really didn't know, which is even worse. Yeah.
It's so bad to not know the rule there. Again, you're a middle infielder. Yeah. You're a middle infielder for the New York freaking Yankees, and and I'm sorry, and we've said this 1,000 times, and I don't need to go into the whole country club atmosphere, but if a player feels comfortable enough to speak publicly, like not knowing the rules like that, and we've talked about speaking publicly enough where they seem to not think it's a big deal to lose 5 in a row at the start of your season and start off this slowly. But for a player to speak comfortably enough where he's not even fully dressed at the locker, and a lot of guys aren't, but he's fixing his hat and he's playing with his earrings and he's not like focused on what's going on at the press conference, at the media circle, and to admittingly know that he doesn't know a rule and just say it publicly, insane. And to feel that comfortable and to not feel embarrassed about not knowing the rule is another thing too. Like,
whose fault is that? Is that Boone? Is it Judge? Is it
it's 1,000%. The attitude in the clubhouse is a Boone and Judge problem. Judge is supposed to keep it together with being the captain of the team, and Boone is supposed to have the overall setting of. There should still be some urgency.
Could you imagine if someone said that with Girardi as their manager, or
he would have
Torrey as
Torrey would have cut him. But I mean, imagine if we keep going back and forth with the if George were alive kind of stuff. If George were alive, Jazz might not be a Yankee by the end of the weekend. Well, that's insane. But and I do want to say, like, if your question originally was on the rule of whose problem is that, that's a Jazz Chisholm Jr. problem. Like, when you're in the pros at this point, there is no making sure you know the rules of the sport thing. Like, to not know that if you throw to first and the play at second becomes a tag play is bonkers. Like that's he's a middle infielder in the major leagues. Like to not know that is it's inexcusable. And you have Jazz coming into this year telling that he's going to be a 50-50 guy, right? And you have Jazz coming into the year telling you he wants a $350 million contract. And you have Jazz in the middle of the year saying that he's a superstar level player on the level of Judge and he's this, that, and the other, all those things. If you're going to talk a big game, you better somewhat put up when you get out on the field. He has done the exact opposite of that. I mean, he's been brutal to start the season, Stacey.
And not only that, he also had the comment before this series started where he was talking about the weather affecting his play, that it's cold and he can't hit in the cold. Well, you were in Tampa. You were in a temperature controlled place where there's a roof and you still weren't hitting. So what's going on?
Thank you for that, because I was honestly, I'm so aggravated right now.
Sorry, climate control. It's climate controlled. That's the phrase. But you know what I mean.
I'm so aggravated in the moment that actually kind of skipped my mind for a second of those comments at the end of the Oakland series, the Athletic series. Thank you for reminding me there. Those comments I thought that was the craziest thing that we would get out of the weekend, and it clearly wasn't. To come out and say, I can't play in the cold, I'm not a good hitter in the cold, like it means that you are not good at the sport that you play when it's a little chilly outside and you just can't handle it.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he played with the Marlins, so he played indoors. He's from the Bahamas. He's not used to cold weather. He grew up in warm, so I mean, I get it, but you don't say it.
You play in New York. We all know it's cold.
And when are the playoffs? The playoffs are when it's cold.
In the cold, big guy. Like the playoff, you want to play in November? It's going to be pretty cold in the Bronx in November. Yeah. Like if you want to, I mean, he wants his legacy built on, again, 50-50 seasons, giant contract, all that kind of stuff. Dude, Aaron Judge is doing that every single year with 50 home runs and 100 plus RBIs, and his legacy still has something missing from it because he hasn't won a title. You want a legacy built in the uniform that you play on with the cap that you wear? Your legacy is built based on what's on your finger, on rings. And if you want to win rings, you got to hit in the cold. I am 1,000% positive that Bernie Williams and Hideki Matsui and Derek Jeter and Paul O'Neill and Tino Martinez and Mariano Rivera, who's also from Latin America, didn't love playing in the cold. All right. I'm sure Mariano Rivera didn't love playing in the snow in 96. A lot of these guys don't like that. You know what those teams did, Stacey? They A, didn't say anything about the cold, and B, sucked it up and played well and won World Series. I don't want to hear how, if you're going to complain about playing in the cold when you play for the New York Yankees, that is code to the Yankees for trade me now.
I feel like this sort of nonsense didn't happen before Boone. I feel like Boone is he's too passive with certain guys, and he's too worried about being the good guy, because you say it all the time when he talks about, like a guy could get tagged for 8 runs and be like, oh, well, he was throwing well.
Yeah.
Okay. So I feel like it starts with him. Judge isn't helping as captain, because how do you allow this? How do you allow something like this to happen? And how do you allow the team to be like this and be fine with, we'll turn things around? No, you have to be angry that you're playing like excrement.
Yeah. Yours is a better word than mine.
Yeah.
Again, and this is the worst team in Major League Baseball to admit that you can't play in the cold with, because this is a team that often expects to play in the cold.
Yeah,
that's
your goal. Your goal is to play in the cold weather, because that means that you have made it to at least the ALCS and the World Series.
And one last comment that I want to make on the cold weather thing, Stacey. In the last couple of years, the Yankees reintroduced their uniform cycle, the classic and perfect look under their pinstripes, the turtleneck from the 90s that the players all used to wear. And now they've worn them at home again. And every time they put them available online, they sell out in an instant. Do you know why that's an iconic part of the Yankee uniform? Because it's worn in the cold, because it's worn in October, because it's worn in November. That comment, if you don't like the cold, and if you can't play in the cold, the Bronx might not be for you, man.
All right. Well, speaking of the Bronx, the Angels are coming to town for 4 games. Can the Yankees win at least one? We'll find out on Monday, but we're going to preview that series next.
The NBA playoffs are here, where every possession matters, every matchup is magnified, and every game can swing an entire series. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers a great way to get in on the action. Here's what I love about it. You can bet just $5 and get $250 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. The app makes it easy to follow the action with players, stats, their trends, and the matchups all available in one place. And during the playoffs, that extra insight really matters when you're looking at stars, the role players, the key moments, Brunson, Hart, Cat. I can't wait to get dialed in on Knick playoff games on FanDuel. It just makes the entire playoff experience that much more engaging from start to finish. So head over to FanDuel.com to get started. FanDuel, play your game. And Locked On Yankees is also brought to you by TurboTax. It's tax time, but for a lot of us, the old way of doing taxes can be a lot. Trying to book an appointment, that's not the most convenient thing. Sitting in a waiting room with a stack full of papers and emailing back and forth, wondering if they really get your situation. But this year, you'll be getting a major upgrade. Intuit TurboTax now has in-person locations available nationwide. You can meet face-to-face with a real tax expert, and your documents get uploaded straight to your TurboTax app on the spot. Just like that, you're done. Your TurboTax expert works to get you every dollar that you deserve while you get real-time notifications as you go about your day. It's the relief of walking in and meeting a real person and walking out knowing that your taxes are being handled the right way. So head over to turbotax.com/local to find a store near you and book your appointment. Stacey, the Yankees head into a series back to the Bronx, which is weird. They went on a road trip for 3 games in Tampa and head right back home.
Don't get me started. They've done that before. These new schedule makers, these automated schedule makers, where the Yankees go to Tampa for 3 and then have to go back home and no break. I don't care that there's a day game. I don't care, because it's not like they get right to the airport after the game is over. It takes some time to get to the airport. What if there's a delay and they don't get home till like midnight? It's just, it's annoying. I don't like it.
Yeah. You go from, you go from LA, Kansas City at home, and then you go to Boston. It's just, and then you go on a lengthy road trip. It's just like, odd. Why not go from Tampa to Boston, since they're in division, stay on the road,
or go Boston to, I don't get it.
So very weird situation going on there with the scheduling. But Monday will be against the Angels. 7:05 will be the start time. Only one afternoon game in this series, and one game not on. Yes, we'll get to that in a second. The matchup is going to be Will Warren versus Yusei Kikuchi. In this series so far, Yusei Kikuchi 0-2 with a 6.75 ERA. He has struggled in his first couple of starts. I want to say this too.
He's going to shut down the Yankees.
Yeah,
tonight.
He's probably due, right?
Yeah.
That's that. It's only in 3 starts so far in the year. He has 16 strikeouts in those 3 starts.
Who was it last year? Was it a pitcher for the Diamondbacks that came in who was really bad, like coming into the series, and he shut down the Yankees in the game?
I do remember that game. But I mean, you know, it's actually hard to remember the names of those guys, because that feels like it happens so frequent with the Yankees.
Yeah, but it's like guys will come in, it's like, oh, this guy's ERA is, 6 point whatever, and he's looked horrible in his first 3 starts, and he's gonna pitch like a 7-inning 1-hit shutout, because Kikuchi is that guy where sometimes the Yankees get to him and sometimes they don't. So we'll see which Yankees squad shows up later tonight.
And if there's any team in the league that's the most generous with helping guys get back on track, it's the New York Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
Reed Detmers goes in game number 2 of the series. He's 0-1 with a 4.60 ERA, but he has 17 strikeouts on the year, which is pretty decent. That game will be started for the Yankees by Ryan Weathers, coming off a really, really good start in his last appearance.
He deserved that win. I felt so bad for him because he pitched so well, and they just did not do anything for him.
Him and Fried. Those are the both in the last run through the rotation. Those are the 2 guys that deserved wins more than anybody. That game will be a 7:05 start as well. That's a Yes Network game. Then we get to Wednesday when they play the Angels at 7:05. That's a Prime Video game. Wednesday games are normally going to be that. Luis Heel back out there. What'd you think of Heel's debut? What was your feeling on that game? Yeah.
I can't even come up with a word.
I think it was fine.
Yeah.
He wasn't awful. The control wasn't there.
The control wasn't there. It's odd because he had such a good last start to the spring against the Orioles. And the Orioles had like their guys in the lineup. He made Pete Alonso looked really silly. He was throwing like 97, 98. He looked really good. And then
one backup on that though, Pete Alonso has looked terrible the entire year so far. Like the Orioles aren't hitting.
You're not really hearing about him, are you?
At all.
Yeah.
Girardi made a good point though. When he got wind, the Yankees were going to, because right before that start that Heel made at the end of spring training, the Yankees announced they were going to start the year with a 4-man rotation.
Right.
And Luis Heel probably got in his head at that point, like, oh, I want to make this roster. I don't want to start the year in AAA. So he might have came out with a little bit of an extra adrenaline boost going into that final spring training game where he struck out a ton and had a great performance. Maybe that had something to do with it. But I thought he was fine. Like, I'm not concerned with his start. He held his own. I just think he, didn't have a lot of control, and my nerves might have been there. It was opening day for him in that game, so
yeah,
let's give it some time. I'm not going to freak out over that one.
Right? Yeah, because some people were. We'll call some people out, not by name, of course, but some people were really like overreacting to Luis Heel's first start. Like, let's calm down about that. Like, we can freak out about this 5-game losing streak and about how horrible the Yankees have looked overall, but don't beat up on Luis Heel. By the way, it was Zach Gallen.
Oh, yeah, that makes total sense. Jack Honowitz goes in game 3 of this series on Wednesday. He's been really good for the Angels. 2-0 with a 3.24 ERA. But how about in his last week? 1.29 ERA. He's been great in the last week. His last start was 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 run. That's probably exactly what he's going to do against the Yankees. That would just make the most sense. And then Thursday, this must be just for a getaway purpose for the Angels, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Thursday's game is a 1:35 game in the afternoon. Max Fried's on the mound. Angels haven't announced a starter as of yet. But yeah, not announcing a starter as of yet. Like to me, that means it's probably going to be bullpen game for the Angels, and that's a getaway game for them too.
Yeah.
So with Max Fried on the mound, that's a game that you should expect to
win.
Yeah. I want to say one more thing on that game too, because we've discussed this a few times. If you're one of those people who likes the finer things in life, and like Stacey Gotsulias, one day wants to sit in the legend seats like she got to at some point, Thursday might be one of those games. Early in the season, still a little chilly out.
I highly recommend doing legend seats at least once. Just splurge once if you can. I was able to because I had the money to do it. It was the only time in my life I had the money to do it, and it was so worth it. I loved it. It's fun pretending that you're a rich person for one day.
You could sit behind home plate for secondary market $612.
I got
which is a good price.
Opening day 2009, right past third base, like 4th row, $625.
Yeah,
but it was opening day. Like, it was the first opening day of the new stadium. So
that's actually a tremendous price.
Yeah,
like for opening day in the new stadium. Yeah, I'm seeing down the third base line like $203. Like the bleacher seats are going for $6 on Thursday. It's a Thursday 1:00 game. Like, that's if you want to sit in luxury.
There's going to be like 18 people there.
Yeah, they'll claim 49,000. But if you want to sit in luxury seats, that's the time to do it.
All right, well, thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode of Locked On Yankees. Make sure you subscribe and follow Locked On Yankees so you get all the latest episodes. You can follow us on Instagram at Locked On Yankees and TikTok, Locked On Yankees, all one word. TikTok, _Yankees. If you never miss an episode, the Everyday Your Club is built for you. You get ad-free Locked On Yankees episodes, members-only Discord access, and more. If you're on the all-access level, you get a newsletter from me. You join the Discord. You also get one-on-one texting services, so you can converse with me there as well if you want to. It's fun. You can join us now at lockedonyankees.supercast.com. You're watching us on YouTube. Head over to the first ever 24/7 Locked On Podcast Network channel. If you're listening on audio, make Locked On MLB your second listen of the day. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.